Another day of rain. It's unbelievable. But I got the materials coming for the sawmill kiln today. And I think I'm going to have them just pile them up in front of the pole barn, and I'll cover them with a tarp. And it's supposed to not rain the next 2 days. Amazing. We'll get 2 days of no rain. We'll see. I need to get the van ready so that it can be my little workstation over there. And that way I can throw all my tools in it and keep them dry at night. Alright. So the lumber has arrived, the roof, and I already packed the insulation inside there. Ooh, there's a lot of insulation in there for a little building. There's the roof. There's the beams. A couple plates here and a couple plates there. I gotta go get my list and figure this out. And then I gotta throw it up on the van, drive over there, because I've got basically the rest of today and the next 2 days as rain free, and then the rains come back. I grab the waterproofing, and that's what I'll start with first. I'll waterproof the slab, then lay my plates on and start rolling. And hopefully I make some progress today. And hopefully that slab is dry. First thing I'm going to do before I get rolled out. Yeah, it's still pretty wet. The front side's kind of dry, but definitely not this back side. It got a pretty good rain though this morning. It was still dumping. So I'm glad I got at least this dry. But the primer for the waterproofing, it's a peel and stick waterproofing, is a water-based primer, so it should be okay. And it's old, it's kind of dried out a little bit, so I'm guessing after I put the primer on, the peel and stick should stick real nice. I don't know about the styrofoam though. I'm going to sweep it off, then I'll take a towel and go around and wipe it off. And then I'm going to cut strips that are go around 5 or 6 inches over, probably around 5 inches, and go down to about the blue. see it's, oh no, that's all right. Still slightly wet here. Probably just from the moisture in the concrete. But mostly dry. Maybe I'll take a 5-minute break, let it dry a little bit more, and then I'll finish this. So I'm using this little layout laser. I've got it pretty close to the edge there and lined up with the edge here. But you can see that's lined up with that edge in the same spot. And then down here, so it's pretty dang square. So this is out like an inch. When I poured the foundation, I got some bowing in my forms. So this is me just kind of showing you how it ended up. It ended up bowing out about 1.25 inches on this side and 3/4 of an inch on the other. So I was just overhanging my plates here to compensate for that bow. Alright, so it's lined up that corner. Alright, last tap gone. Alrighty. So I'm going to do something different. There's going to be actual double bottom plates, and then I'll bolt through the other bottom plate through this one, and then into the concrete with probably 1/2 inch bolts. But successful day. I got as far as I wanted to get. So I'll throw my tools in the van and call it a day. Alright, I'm back for more today. Just gonna clean up my mess, throw these boards off, and go grab some studs and start building some walls. Alright, I'm gonna grab the wood I need and throw it up on the van. Drive it back over there. So to start, I'm laying out my plates here, and I'm going to lay out my stud locations. And I wanted to do advanced framing on this building. So that means I'm going to use the minimal amount of studs as possible so that I get a more efficient envelope. I get less heat transfer through the studs because there's less studs. So I'm going to put each stud at 24 inches on center. It's plenty strong and gives you a lot better R value. Notice that I have double sill plates, and one of the sill plates I'm hanging over 1 inch proud of the bottom sill plate, and this is because I'm going to be using 1-inch foam underneath the sheeting for the walls. So that will give me 2 inches hanging over of my lower sill plate. And that way I can run 2 inches of foam up against the blue skin and be nailed to the bottom sill plate. This will allow the foundation foam to link up with the foam in the walls to give me a continuous foam barrier all the way around the building. I'll detail this further in a future video, but I thought I'd just mention why the sill plates are hanging over. Alright, so I'm just laying out my rafters here. I want them on a 312 pitch so that the metal roof works properly. And I also want it so that my tall side is about 12 feet and the other side is about 10 feet tall. Alright, so I made some chicken scratches to kind of figure out what my stud length is going to be. I want the tall side to equal 12 feet, so it's just 3 sheets of plywood. And this side to equal 10 feet, so it's 2.5. So I laid it out, laid the board on a 312, and figured out what the studs would be. Just kind of subtracted all the plates. I'm going to cut all the 12-foot studs at 133 5/8, and then I'll start building this wall. Got the corner posts up. Looks mighty tall. So I'm going to take a break, but when I come back, I'm going to see about throwing the top plate up there and just letting it sag and then just fill in the studs as I go. I think that should work fine. So the rains are back. It gave me 24 hours. Hopefully it doesn't get any worse than this and I can build this wall. Alright, there she is. 2 walls. I think maybe I'll frame in this wall. You'll frame it on the ground and stand it up. And same with the wall down there. The rain is being nice to me. It looks menacing, but we'll see if it lets me finish today. So I'd forgotten that this laser has a transfer. So I can just set this right there. It gives me a dot right up there. So I just got to do that for 2 studs, and then I got to frame in for my door opening and put a cripple in. And then I'll be done with this framing, and then I can do the top. Throw all the rafters in. Be a pretty good day. Alright, here I am cutting all my rafters, and in keeping with the theme of advanced framing, you'll see that I have just a single top plate, and so that means each one of these rafters is going to land directly above a stud. That way I can avoid having the standard double top plate. Well, I made good progress yesterday. It's pretty cool to walk down and see the shape of a building there. Looks like we didn't get much rain last night, so it partially dried. But there, I can see the roof now in the daylight. I actually woke up at like 4:30 in the morning, couldn't get back to sleep, and I almost came out to start at the butt crack of dawn, but I knew I'd have to start up the backhoe. So I went back to bed. Alright, so I'm gonna fire this up, and while it's warming up, I'm gonna clean up, and I'm gonna go grab some foam and sheeting. Foam and plywood, and start sheeting this big old small kiln. That's what I'm gonna call it, the big old small kiln.